Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new, my name is Elle Ramaila, and on this channel it's all about learning, growth and contribution. If you're returning, welcome back. I need to welcome myself back because I took a young hiatus, but that was because the goal was, yo guys, it was rough. My body caved in. It was the first time being sick in such a long time, and I thought, you know what, let me come back with something that I really wanted to speak about, because every person that sees me, that knows me personally, they keep asking me this question, and I feel like it would be a good time to address it now. Is why did you stay in audit? I mean, audit is something that obviously if you are en route to becoming a CASA, you have the option of either doing your training contract either with an audit firm or with a bank, or I think maybe they do say there's private equity firms that also offer your training contract, but I think only a selected few. But I did my training contract with one of the big four, and basically for me, audit as a trainee was a mess. When I say a mess, I mean like there was a lot going on being a trainee, right? I've posted a video about what it takes to be like a first year, second year, third year, but there is just such a big jump between studying PGDA or CTA and then jumping straight into a training contract. The challenges that you endure, the fact that you write 2 board exams within that 3 years, you write ITC, and I mean, granted, ITC, you basically do it right before you start, but it's still a part of the process. You also have APC, and working with one of the big four, you work on a lot of listed clients, a lot of big clients, a lot of big names, and so the work hours are quite excruciating. The culture of audit can be very competitive, very tiring to your soul, not just your physical body, but the politics around audit is quite a lot, right? But on a more positive note, why I decided to stay in audit, I am a mom of 4. You're a mom of 4, imagine. I am a mom to a 4-year-old, and so I didn't stay with her during my training contract, and it was something that was really not sitting well with me because of how much time I missed with her. Granted, I was seeing her almost every weekend, if not every weekend, besides the time I was writing APC, and it was quite sketch, but I made sure that I went to see her as often as I could. And so I wanted to make the shift into being like full-on mom mode, but at the same time being working. And I know being in corporate, there is a lot of standard hours around going into corporate. Like if I was a financial manager, if I was I'm trying to think, I don't want to name drop, but a lot of corporate jobs require to be at work at a certain time and leave at a certain time. But for me, audit grants you the flexibility to arrive at a time that is suitable to you. Now, I need to be careful when I do say that, because this comes with a lot of conversations with your superiors and them knowing the work that you can produce. So if I am a young mom, I've built my reputation to say I'm a reliable person. If you tell me to do something, I'm going to get it done. So I don't necessarily need to come in at a certain hour. I don't necessarily need to leave at a certain hour. It is very task orientated. So I think for me, number one, the flexibility that comes with audit is great. And I feel like when I say flexibility, it's not just about the work hours, but the exposure that you get working on different clients. Now, the firm that I am at, we have different divisions, and they offer different industry exposure. So let's say, for example, if I like mining or banking, the opportunity for me to go into those different areas is there. Now, granted, audit, I feel like encapsulates the whole CASA training experience, right? There's this saying that if you can audit, you can do anything. Because like, for you to audit, you need to know a standard, whether that's IFRS, whether that's a tax legislation, whether that's a corporate finance principle. But if you are in audit, the sun is hitting me funny. There we go. Let me sit back. There we go. If you are in audit, there is an opportunity for you to branch out into the different divisions. And like I said, if you can audit, you can basically do anything. You need to be able to audit a standard, whether that's IFRS, whether that's a tax legislation, whether that's a corporate finance principle. That allows your mind, or the way you think, to be flexible. And also the fact that you don't necessarily work on one client. There is an opportunity for you to work on different clients. So a lot of my clientele is around hospitality, as well as media, as well as telecoms, and technology. But I think for me, the fact that I get to not feel tied down to one way of a client system or one way of a client working, that allows your mind to be flexible in that regard. You don't necessarily need to work on one client at a time, and that for me gives me the flexibility that I need. I'm a very dynamic person. I don't like being in one place at the same time. And I have flexibility in terms of like my team members, right? So with every client, you work with different people. Granted, there may be an overlap in the people that you work with. If you're working in smaller firms or medium tier firms, or even in the large firms, right? There is like a rotational basis where you get to work with the same type of people, but the chances are you'll work with different types of people, and I enjoy doing that. And yes, that is not something that is unique to audit. I mean, in a corporate space, you can work in a floor that has different people, but for me, the fact that I get to give back to trainees, so now that I'm on the other side, I like to call it the other side, I get to give back to the youth. I get to impart my knowledge, my experience to people that are coming after me, which is something I'm very passionate about. So the fact that I work in a space that allows me to teach while I'm still growing myself, while I'm still working, that for me gives me the flexibility that I need, right? So that's a few reasons why I stayed in audit. Another thing is, guys, I like audit. I must say that without laughing so that I come across as serious. Audit was one of like my top subjects in varsity. Like, I kid you not, I don't want to flex, ne? But my final mark for audit when I was in third year, or was in second year, I think it was in second year, it was like 93%. And audit for me made sense because it wasn't just about the fact that you understood the standard or the legislation or the corporate finance. It's about how you understood the risk in those areas. And for me, my brain got it. Like, sometimes when you get it, you get it. That's matter of fact, right? I mean, there is the downfall part of being in audit, and this is where I'm going to jump in to say, guys, don't come for me. I enjoy audit, but I'm not saying it is something that's like enjoyable for everyone. So the downfall of being in audit, guys, especially if you're working for big firms, right? The hours, you will work for your money. That money is not going to come into your bank account just trickling in. Your blood, sweat, and tears went into that paycheck, you know? So the amount of hours that you work, and I mean, this also comes with the fact that your clientele plays a big role in the number of hours that you work. So for me, I worked on a lot of listed clients, and so my hours were crazy. Like, there were times where I was like, oh my goodness. 24 hours cannot be the amount of hours in the day, because in audit, there is definitely more than 24 hours in a day. The fact that you spend so much time with people under pressure, people are not the same under pressure. Like, there's a hidden personality, hidden person that comes out once the pressure hits. So it tends to become a bit toxic. And I say toxic because of the fact that pressure reveals different things about each person, right? So not everybody can handle pressure in the right way or the correct way. So I mean, there are instances where it gets very tense, very awkward, very frustrating, very aggressive real quick, and you're like, I thought we were friends. Like, what is going on? But that is because people don't necessarily know how to handle pressure. And I mean, audit is full of a lot of young people when they just finish their training contract. 25-year-olds, 26-year-olds, us, my generation, guys, we are still figuring out our life, right? So a part of what we're figuring out within us comes across in the workspace, which is not right, but it's a given. It's a reality thing that a lot of people face, where you realize, okay, people above you can be just a tiny bit childish, right? But you also understand that for them, they're also finding themselves in a corporate adulthood space, and also trying to relate to other people or lead other people. So not everybody gets it right the first time around. The other part of audit is just the politics around it, the favoritism. And I think this is not something that's just unique to audit. I feel like generally corporate has a place of elevating people with a louder voice and with a corporate confidence. I'm going to start copywriting that term, corporate confidence, like the one that chats the loudest or chats with the most, they get that, oh, he knows what he's doing or she knows what she's doing, right? And the people that are very humble, like that have humility, that are very quiet, soft-spoken, they tend to be overlooked just a tad bit, but not always. And I think, again, this is not just unique to audit. This is something that is pervasive in the corporate space. And I think that's why a lot of people also don't like corporate, because of the system in it. It's deep rooted and it's very difficult to change that atmosphere once you're in it. But all you can do is just try and be your best in everything that you do. I always pray my way before anything, away everything, and I always tell God, if you put me here, no one can close any door that you have opened, and no one can stop me from like walking the path that you want me to walk. So for me, I root myself in the Word of God to feel secure in that space where I don't feel like I need to compromise in order to be liked or understood by people that elevate those with corporate confidence. And I know that I walk with an anointing that says, you are going to like me whether you like it or not. And if you don't, sharp, my guy, let's keep it moving. So I think those are some of the, I can call the challenges being in audit. I do believe that if you are going through this phase, whether you want to decide whether do I need to stay in audit or leave audit, I really believe that it's a personal choice. And I don't feel like I'm here to tell you that staying in audit is the right thing for you to do. Staying in audit is the right thing for me to do. But I feel like whatever you do, bring it to God. Ask Him, is this a place where you want me to stay, to grow, to flourish? Because there is so many opportunities that just comes with being in an audit space, whether that be talking with execs as a trainee or as a young professional. Like, how are you even having access to those people? There's people in your companies that you actually audit that are so panicky when they have to talk to their bosses, right? And here you are having to like pick their mind and build good relationships with them. So I feel like the exposure to having important people is quite great, because corporate is big but small at the same time. So you always want to leave an impression, especially at work. The fact that you get to interact with different kinds of people in a team, from the lowest, and I mean, when I say the lowest, I mean first years that are coming in, to the highest, when I mean partners that have traveled, that have got all the experience, and you have the in-between, the people that were here and now they are in here. Those people can impart so much knowledge to you in terms of like work experience. I really believe that sometimes in life you don't have to necessarily walk every path, but if you meet the right people that have the patience enough to tell you the ropes or show you how to operate something, bliss. I mean, in life, it's not that success is going to be built from the very bottom and the ghetto and from scratch. There is nothing wrong with building yourself from a place that other people's mistakes have placed you there, and you can learn from there, and that can be your starting point. So I do believe it does give you a lot of exposure. It does allow you to, I guess, appreciate your personal life even more. The fact that I work so many hours, I don't take for granted the amount of time that I get to spend with my family. And it's not that I work crazy hours throughout the year. There are seasons where I really don't work as much as I do, but at the end of the day, you go to work to work. I feel like some people like to be employed but actually don't want to work, and it's a bit strange because the option of not working is also there. So to come on this platform and tell you, oh my gosh, there's so much work, I don't know what else I was supposed to say, but the fact that you do work, but it is rewarding. Financially, it has allowed me to literally buy my apartment. It has allowed me to put my daughter in a very good school. It does allow me to have a lot of flexibility in my traveling, in my dining. Guys, I can say I'm living my best life because of audit, right? I do know a lot of people will always say audit is so terrible, but they don't necessarily tell you the benefits of audit. They won't tell you that they are taking a flight somewhere because of audit, right? It's not all that terrible. Yes, there's days, guys. Yo, Letlang Quota, you guys will come for me one day where I'm having a breakdown and you're like, remember your video. But again, I want to give you full context so that you make an informed decision. And I do hope I was able to cover a lot of the things that you're going to go through. And later on in my YouTube journey, I will keep like shedding light and expressing just the things that you come across, but hopefully you can be able to be in a position where the decision that you make is personal to yourself, makes sense to your personality, makes sense to who you are, and most importantly, aligned with God's will for your life. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, to comment, to share, and to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.